Here's where it's happening. Critical water use areas. This one along Crowley's Ridge, the western side of Crowley's Ridge, is the newest critical groundwater use areas. Now, why is that important? Well, because that says there's declining water tables, and the groundwater associated with that is the alluvial aquifer in that area. It's really not being recharged because it's broken away from, it's separated from the Mississippi River alluvium, from the recharge of the Mississippi by Crowley's Ridge. And so it's the recharge is much less in that part of the state than it is in others, and the demand is pretty significant. There's positives in that. It means that water tables are going down, but it also means that the farmers in that area have access to cost share, to advantages in building reservoirs and doing water conservation kinds of things that other folks wouldn't get. Municipal stormwater, who's your neighbor? Who's your neighbor, and what are they doing, and what are the pressures and powers and responsibilities that they have? Remember, the planning responsibilities that cities have in the state extend 5 miles beyond their base boundaries. So if you're within 5 miles of a city, you need to be a partner. They need to know you, you need to know them. You need to know what kind of discussions are taking place about water quality, about water use, about water availability, those sorts of things, because not only are they your potential partner, they're your potential competitor, and you need to be aware of that. The priority that we have for water use in the state of Arkansas is first and foremost what? Health. Health comes first. Everything else is equal behind health. So cities have the advantage. Remember that as you think about and plan for your future water use. We have irrigation districts that are developing in the state. Those are important. They're important because they're a means for satisfying some of the water demand and increasing water availability to farmers that need it. But if you're in a water district that is building an irrigation district capacity, you need to understand the rules are going to change. You need to know how those rules will change to affect you. You also need to understand where the impaired stream segments are in the state. Are they adjacent to you? If they're adjacent to you, they may affect the decisions that you make relative to what goes on your farm, what leaves your farm. This is MRBI. This is where in the state there will be new incentives for water quality management. Specifically, a project that is designed to address the hypoxia issue in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, all of a sudden, the hypoxia issue got worse. Why? The Gulf oil spill. The Gulf oil spill really complicated the whole issue of hypoxia, raised its profile, and made this much more important to you. As a farmer, manager, decision maker in these watersheds in the state of Arkansas, you need to absolutely be taking advantage of the cost share availability for best management practices for water quality management. You need to be engaged in this if you're in one of these watersheds. Again, this is where the critical water, groundwater designation areas are, and this is why. This is where the cones of depression are in the state. And so you can see the relationship between where the critical water use areas are and where the demand is driving that. Demand continues to grow. Look at the change in just groundwater access points over the period from 1999 to 2004, and that trend has continued to date. I just didn't have the data pool for that. There are 101 completed TMDLs, total maximum daily load plans for segments and water bodies in the state of Arkansas done today. They're done. They're in the hopper. ADEQ has those completed. Why were they done? They were done because the court ordered them. The court ordered the TMDLs. If you are a state regulatory agency and you have 101 plans in place, what's next? The next step is implementation. If you're on a TMDL streamer water body, you need to know that. You need to know what that plan is, you need to know what it says, and you need to know how it has the chance to come home to affect you. These are the irrigation districts. Most of you know those, know where those are, but there are at least 12 in some sort of formation in the state of Arkansas. And in a large part, they have a potential to influence the kind of agriculture you are involved in. There's also this new competitor, the Fayetteville Shale. The significant demand on water in the state of Arkansas, but also a significant impactor on water quality in the state. If they're a neighbor, they're going to influence you. Watersheds and aquifers drive water issues in Arkansas. Know your watershed. Know where you are. Know who's downstream from you. Know who's upstream from you, and know what the circumstance is within the either the watershed you're using or the aquifer you're tapping for the resources you need. You've got management options. You've got cropping systems, variety selection, irrigation systems, source water choices, all sorts of things, the decisions that are available to you. If you can own water, it's in your reservoir in the state of Arkansas. That is the only water you can own. Everything else is subject to somebody else. It's subject to your neighbor downstream. It's subject to who's got the well next to you. It's subject to the city that you're living next to. It's subject to who uses water downstream from you. So that is the only water you can own. If it's on your farm, catch it. Catch it, collect it, put it back in your reservoirs, reuse it as much as you can. If you turn it loose, it's somebody else's, and it's also a potential liability. Remember the Clean Water Act. Keep your agencies, your organizations, the people that represent you engaged. Understand what the word navigable means to you. Understand the new rules and regulations that are coming. Permits for pesticides in or over water. What does that mean? Understand that the state has reporting requirements now for improvement districts, for levee districts, for irrigation districts, for all of those kinds of districts that haven't been in place before. Understand what the meaning of sustaining aquifers are. You have to meter if you're using water out of that. If you're not, you're in violation. So understand that. Understand the permit limitations that may come in place because you're on a TMDL stream. Understand the potential that has. The only way you can understand that is to know where you are. Know what the rules are.